Okay, guys, Chris back at doing CC's Aquatic Adventures, and it seems like you guys are interested in the tanks and the fish themselves. So I'm going to take you through every single tank, make a little video on every tank setup I have. The first one was a 75-gallon Angelfish tank, which I think is just an awesome tank. But this is my Tetra tank. This is actually, I call this a blue gourami tank. I got this blue gourami about 6 years ago. I've had him. I actually have two of them. One of them jumped out, but he's still alive. But the rest of this tank is are Tetras. One of my favorite fish. If you're in a beginner in this hobby, I always recommend Tetras. Okay, and they're so hardy, and they'll give you, and they're just really good looking fish, and they'll give you a lot of life in your tank. As you can see, I just turned the lights on in this tank, so they're kind of hiding in the plant. But one of my favorite all-time Tetras are the Emperor Tetras, which are these guys right here. You see the beautiful coloration on their tails. I like the stripe on them. They're such a great looking fish. Great Tetra. If you get them when they're young, they're pretty cheap, and they'll get about a good 3 or 4 inches, but they're tall and they're fat. As you can see, I got a couple of guys in there. I think there's 5 of them in there. There's one over here, 2 on this side. But those are called Emperor Tetras. I know that they made a different strain of these. I think they're an Albino, but this one here is really gorgeous. You can see the yellow coloration on his tail. Just a beautiful fish, and they're just so hardy too. One of my favorite Tetras. I just love the way they look. I love when they get fatter and bigger too. They're a pretty big Tetra, if you like Tetras. I also got in here some red Eye Tetras, which are these guys here. I got these guys when they were babies. There was 6 of them in there. There's 4. I think 2 of the older ones died, but they pretty much stick together. Those guys are, if you have a nice big tank and you want to do a tank of Tetras, I would definitely recommend those guys. They're awesome fish. They really are. They're very hardy, and they always swim around for you and make the tank look good. I also got in here, right there are the Albino skirt Tetras. And I also got, if you look close in there were also regular skirt Tetras right up to the front there. You can see I had these guys for about the same amount of time as a blue gourami, about 6 years. Great hardy fish. They get about that size. They're full grown. That's about that size. I see them a little bit bigger. There's the actual one there that's smaller. But they get pretty good size. I like them. And if you ever want to do like a tank with like a bigger, I don't know, like, just say like a gourami, the gouramis will leave the bigger Tetras alone. But the gourami I got in here, the blue gourami, he's very docile. Doesn't really mess around with any other fish. He's just been a great addition to my fish room, my fish garage. And one of my favorite fish of all time, and I've had these guys for at least 7 years, maybe 8 years going. One of my first fish I ever got, the glass catfish. These guys are so super cool. I only got 2 in there. I just never got any more. I'd love to get more of them. Just do a whole tank full of them. Just a great looking fish, and it's a really good beginner fish too, because they're very hardy and they'll eat anything. They'll last long. They prefer bloodworms, but I don't feed this tank a lot of bloodworms. I usually give them brine shrimp. That's what the gourami likes. So that's what I usually give them. This is here a flying fox. If you guys remember, I was having an issue with him eating the black hair algae, but as you can see, the tank is absolutely clear, full of clear of black hair algae. Just an awesome fish. If you guys have an issue with black hair algae, I definitely recommend getting the flying fox, because the flying fox is a little less aggressive than your Siamese algae, which I do have in the tank behind there. I don't know if you can see him in there, but he's on the side there. But yeah, there's one in there. But if the flying fox is less aggressive, And he's more of a fish that wants to be involved in everything, as you can see. It's just an awesome fish. I love him. Also in here we got some Quarries down there. You can see two of them in the corner there. I don't know if you can see any more of them. There's one over here too. I believe there's about 6 of them in there. They like to hide in the plants, but there's about 6 Quarries in there. You can see these guys hanging out down by the plant. If you look closely, there's also Phantom Tetras in there, which are really cool. I don't know if you can see them closely. They don't really come out at night. There's one right there. That's the oldest one I got. He's about, I would say, about 4 or 5 years old. They're just an awesome fish. This guy up here, I bought them as a Rummy-nosed Tetra. And I am not sure what kind of Tetra that is, but I know they sent me as a Rummy-nosed, and I was able to get the rest of the Rummy-nosed. They're in that tank there. You don't see them a lot, but that tank has a lot of algae in it. But because I don't have any snails in there, because the zebra roaches eat them. But there's Rummy-nosed in there, and I was able to get these guys for free. I had a bunch of these in there. They only lasted about 3 or 4 years, and they're pretty much done. But this is when I did this tank, I didn't really do it because of color. I just did it because I like the way these fish go together. They're really cool, and I don't know. I know the colors they look a lot the same, the colors, but I do like the way they interact with each other. And the blue gourami is just my favorite fish. You can see he just hangs out in there. He's tank boss, and he just adds a lot of color to that tank. So yeah, and last but not least, these fish are my favorite. I want to get more of these if I ever get some bigger tanks, or if I decide to make a maneuver. Those guys are my favorite Tetra, and they are the Congo Tetras. Now these, I believe, are males. I think the females get the bigger, longer tails, or they're different coloration or different tail coloration. But those are my favorite. I've had those for about the same amount of years as the other Tetras. All these fish in here are hardy. This is a 40-gallon high, and they absolutely love this. Sorry guys, when I cut my video short by accident. They love this plant here. It's an awesome plant. I'm gonna have to move that plant because he got so big. I'm probably gonna move him into a bigger tank once I get the thing situated. And I'm still waiting on getting a bigger tank. I haven't been able to get one yet, but once I do, I'll move these guys out. So the Congo Tetra is the last one I was mentioning. So this is pretty much an all Tetra tank with a blue gourami. The blue gourami is just a chill guy. That's about as big as you're gonna get. All these guys in here are pretty much full grown, except for the Emperor Tetra. I think they could probably grow a little longer, a little bigger. But they're just like I said. Of all the Tetras I have, I think this is probably my favorite tank, and has all my favorite Tetras in it. And I like all kinds of Tetras. I know there's a couple guys in there that like Tetras too. I got some Von Rios, and I got some other Tetras in other tanks, like the bluefin Congo Tetra. There's a couple different ones. They're Colombian Tetra. Sorry, not the Congo. The Colombian Tetra, which I believe are in this tank over here. If you want to see, is there's a couple of Buenos Aires Tetras in there. If you look closely, yeah, those guys got pretty big. The Colombian guys. I think it's 3 or 4 of them in there. There's 4 of them in there, and two Buenos Aires. Unfortunately, I lost 2 of them in the move. They made it through the move, but they didn't last very long. There's also a snail in here too. There's a little. I put an assassin, not assassin snail. I forgot the name of the snail. It's off the top of my head. Let's see if we can find him in there. I don't see him in there. But you can see that this is a really good ecosystem. There's also I believe that I have a pleco in there. I don't see him in there. As you can see, like I said, I run all my tanks as an ecosystem. So every fish in here has something to do, something to eat. There is a Nerret snail back here. If you look close enough. The more of these guys, the better. Nerret snails also work on algae too. Actually, they work on the green algae. Green algae, and of course the flying fox does the black algae, and the pleco, he pretty much eats anything. I got some wood in there for him. There's also, I give him pellets too. Not pellets, I mean the algae wafers. But there's also another snail in there too. I think it's a Nerret snail, or is another apple. No, the apple snail is in the 75 gallon. I always forget the name of the snails. Yeah, this tank is awesome. Like I said, I run ecosystem. You can see the tank is crystal clear. There's no algae in there, no black algae, no diatoms, no green algae. Just an awesome tank. So that's the update on this. I guess I call it the Tetra blue gourami tank. Sorry guys, I had to go check out to see what kind of snail it was. It's a mystery snail. I don't know if you can see him in there. You probably can. He might be eating some plant matter, some dead plant matter. But there is it. I don't know if you can see him in there. Yeah, I don't see him in there. But there's definitely one in there. So that's the update, guys. On this tank. My favorite tank usually. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a tank update on every one of these tanks. Being that you guys are interested in the fish, but this tank is a perfect example of how you want your aquarium to look. All right, obviously I could probably do a little bit more scaping in there because of the plant, but you can see the fish are absolutely healthy. There's every type of fish in there to complete your ecosystem. There's a Nerret snail, there's a mystery snail, there's a pleco, there's a flying fox, and I would definitely recommend a flying fox if you guys want to keep the black algae off your tank. And they will eat other stuff, so they will eat bloodworms. They'll eat pretty much anything you put in there. That same thing goes for the Siamese alligator, but the Siamese alligator, you want to be careful. You don't want to put him in a tank. Like I had a tank full of guppies with that guy. I had to move him into the 55 gallon there. He's doing great in there. He can't bother anybody, but just be careful when you're picking these fish, and what kind of tank you want to put. You can put them in a community tank, but make sure the tank you have are kind of fish that are going to give you some life and can take a lot of things happening to them, like as far as the water chemistry, or you want them to be pretty hardy. You know what I mean? So this tank works because I got the right temperament fish in there. There's a pleco there, guys. He'll probably have to move eventually. The gourami likes to hide underneath the plant too, but yeah, that's a little pleco. I'll probably be moving him too soon. Anyway, that's the tank update, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next tanks I'll be doing. I'm hoping to get this 125 soon so I could do an update on the fish I want to put in there. That's what I'm hoping and praying that I can get my hands on one real quick. I just don't want to spend $600 in a 125 gallon with no equipment with it. I gotta find the right deal. And with me in the fish hobby, I don't like to spend a lot of money. I like to pretty much take something and make it work for me, and it costs me less money to do that way. And I don't spend a lot of money in the fish hobby. I just don't. That's the original plan with this channel, is to how you save money or not spend that much money on your fish. Most part is getting equipment that you could fix yourself, and if you have confidence in yourself to fix stuff, then I would just buy your tanks on Marketplace. It's just cheaper. Anyway, guys, remember, if you can't own them, rehome them. And eventually I'll get you guys an update on the Oscars. They're doing great. I just had, like I said, I told you in the last video that they're doing great in the 150 gallon, and also the Frontoses, which we'll be doing that soon when I go over to Vance's house again. We'll see how those Frontoses are doing, along with the Leperinus and the Red Devil. As far as I know, that they're doing pretty good. So, again, If you like the channel, like it, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Let me know if you guys like the 40 gallon. All right, see you next time, guys.